Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's episode of the 16 Bitchin' Podcast, part of the Retro Refresh family. Brought to you on Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, and a bunch of other places. This is actually the first podcast I've recorded in a little while where it's just me. Now, I know you hear it alternate, one where it's just me, one where it's interviewing another YouTuber, and it goes on and on in that order. But don't forget, I don't release them in the order that I record them. I tend to release them in order of convenience and stuff like that, just to keep it mixed up, give it variety. I like to do one then the other, but I haven't had a chance to record one where it's just me for a little while. So now that I finally get the chance to, I'm finally remembering why I enjoy it. Because it's convenient. Interviewing other YouTubers is great fun and I enjoy the chat, but it can also be a pain in the ass because you got to organise times. If I'm interviewing someone in America, which I want to do more of, I want to interview more people in America, the pisser is time difference. That can be a real pain in the butt, but if you can organise it, then it's great, and you get to meet all these new YouTubers that you might not have known otherwise. Although chances are you do, because they're all doing better than me. Anyway, enough of that crap. Today we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to talk about some games that... One of them you'd have heard me mention many times, yet for some reason I haven't covered it. Why? I don't know. Another one? Yes, talked about in random places. Not always on my channel, but talked about it. And another one that no, I don't think I've ever talked about it. And I don't know why. So it's going to be very interesting getting into that one. So without further ado, we're going to get into our 3 games of today. And the first one is, of course, the modern one. And that game is Worldend Syndrome. Now, this game was published by P-Cube. Now, you might be familiar with them. They specialise in visual novel games, which is what this is. And they also specialise in, how do I put it? Some rather pervy stuff, gameplay-wise. Anime sort of on the edge of becoming hentai without becoming hentai. Yeah. A lot of great fun in games, and, it's all zany and it's all stupid and it's good fun. It's not all just pervy porny shit. Like this game today, Worldend Syndrome, does have some pervy stuff, but not as much as some of the other games. This game has a really good plot. Problem is, I can't cover the game's story too much because I don't want there to be any spoilers, so I'm just going to have to get to the basics. So let's go to the story first and we'll talk about the gameplay. Yes, there is gameplay. The story takes place in a small, fictional Japanese town called Mihati, or Mihate. I don't know, it's written and I can't pronounce it, so there. You play the part of a male student, no name, you put in your own name, so whatever, and you're quite a depressed child. And I won't lie, there's many, how do I put it, styles and levels of depression. I'm someone that's been depressed before in my life, so I can relate to this crap. But I can really relate to this student. The way he explains how he feels, this sort of emptiness, this sort of void of anything. The way he goes on through the game describing how he feels. It's not annoying, it's not whiny, it's not bitchy, oh my life is so hard, wah. It's not like that. It covers it just the right amount. Not too little and definitely not too much. I like the character. I really do. So he's moved to this new town for reasons that doesn't really fucking matter. And he goes to a new school and he gets into this new after school club thing called the Mystery Club. No, it's not like Scooby-Doo and shit like that. It's basically conspiracy theory, history of the town sort of shit. And when I say history of the town, basically the Mystery Club is investigating an urban legend, I guess is the best way to describe it, an urban legend of some sort of ghost thing. They call it the Yomibito because it's Japanese. And I've probably butchered the pronunciation on that, but fuck it, who cares? Story-wise, there's many different paths you can take through this, okay? There's not one set path, you can do whatever you like. And of course, there are many different endings. I've gotten several of the endings, but until you get all of the little endings, you don't get the true ending. So it's not like other games where it's like good ending, bad ending, and fucking weird ending. No, you got to get all the little ones before you can get the proper one. I will not be covering the proper one at all because that is definitely spoiling it. But there's a lot of, as you could figure out, anime girls in this, and you can form sort of relationships. Luckily, each anime girl has a very different personality. So you might like one girl but fucking hate another. Like right now, I'm playing the game again, and I've not got the true ending, I won't lie, but I have got many of the little endings. One of the girls I'm doing some sort of friendship relationship with. No, it doesn't mean become boyfriend and girlfriend. It's just building up your relationship status with said person. I'm having to become friendlier with one of the girls I fucking hate. There's just this one that's overconfident and bossy, and I just hate the bitch. But there's also this really, like, cutesy, I don't know, shy, innocent sort of character for a girl. Her I like, she seemed like a nice person. And so, of course, that was the first one I did, and now I'm having to do the one I fucking hate. So I'm at that stage. But it's still fun, even though I'm having to do that crap. But don't be put off by it. This is not just some bullshit dating sim game or anything like that. You are investigating murders, strange murders, that started over 100 years ago and don't appear to have stopped. And they do appear to be linked to this Yomibito ghost thing. Don't know what it is. There's many different genres to this story. There's horror, mystery, romance, and what some people call slice of life. I don't actually know what that means, but it's what I've heard it referred to, so I'm just saying it. Now, being a visual novel, this is essentially a manga book that's a video game. I'm a big fan of manga. Since having kids, I don't get the time to read manga, because when the opportunity finally happens and it's like, oh, I can read, I'm so tired that I open a book, I read a bit, I fall asleep. Because I'm just knackered. That's what it means to be a parent. You're fucking constantly tired. What's worse is if I finally finish a book, so what? It's manga. There could be 30 fucking, I don't know, episodes, issues for the damn story. So one isn't enough. There's loads. Never ends on one. Ever. And visual novels are essentially the video game format of that. So there's a lot of reading. But that's what it's designed to be. It's not like Pokemon Sun, where I'm meant to be catching Pokemon and having fun, but instead I'm fucking reading. No, this is a game where you're meant to be reading. But that's not all it is. That's the point I'm trying to get across here, and failing quite a little bit. You can pick where you go. You can do all these certain things. There are daytime events and all of this crap. Go here to meet this person. Go here to meet that person. But the thing is, until you've been to said places at least once before, you don't know if anyone's there. So you might waste a day, and you only get, I think it's 30 days, and then stuff happens. Good ending or bad ending, I'm not telling you, but stuff happens in the 30 days. So you've got to make the most of the time you have. You've got to do stuff. So if you go to places and there's no one there, shit, you might find yourself loading, realizing you made a bit of a fuck up. But if you remember what I said about the many different storylines, yes, has plenty of that. Good thing is, it has New Game Plus, essentially, which means you can complete the game, and then when you go to start a new game to get your different ending and all that jazz, say if you went to, I don't know, the cafe, you know that one of the girls is there. Having completed it before and done that before, when you get to a said day, it will have a little picture of that girl hovering over the cafe, so you know if you go there at that time, she's there. So if you don't want to talk to her, you don't waste your time and go there. And if you do want to talk to her, you know to go there. It's bloody helpful. They've really thought this through. When looking into reviews for it, I can't see that much in the typical reviews that we've mentioned in the past, but critics generally praise the story. A lot of people did say they really liked it, but other people also conceded that the game didn't particularly break any new grounds for the genre. I suppose that's true. It's a visual novel, so it's kind of limited what you can get away with and what you can do. And there are a few typos in it. There's a few fuck-ups and spelling mistakes. I guess you could say the translator was a bit of a fucking idiot, or he rushed stuff, who knows. But it doesn't take it away from the game, so don't worry about that. We've covered story without spoiling anything. I seriously think you should check this game out. Visually, graphically, for anime type game, it's very good. It's very nice. It's very appealing. The music in it doesn't bore the shit out of me, so it's good. I don't think it's as good as, say, Steins Gate, which is what many people would say is the best visual novel game. I don't know if it's the best, but it certainly seemed to make it a popular thing. If we didn't have Steins Gate, I don't think we'd have that many successful visual novels at all in this day and age. I really don't. Although many people, I would like to point this out before I forget, many people have likened this game to that of Doki Doki Literature Club. Literature Club. Literature Club? Can I say that right? Probably not. Doki Doki Literature Club. That's recently been released on the Switch. It's, that's a fucked up game. I did a Let's Play of that once before. Really didn't know what to think of it. People wanted me to keep playing. I thought, this is weird. You know, people want me to keep playing a game where I'm essentially reading and trying to do funny voices for all the characters. Then shit got weird. People really seemed to like what was happening, and I hadn't checked any spoilers or reviews or anything for the game, so I had some weird shit thrown in my face, and everyone seemed to like it, you evil bastards. But this game, Worldend Syndrome, is sort of in that realm of styles, kind of. It's not exactly the same. It does have many differences, but I consider them all to be good ones. Not ones that make it better than Doki Doki Literature Club, but ones that would definitely make it on par and make it its own type of game. I should also say that there is apparently the possibility of a sequel. They said it'd be called Worldend Phenomenon, but there's been no news on that, and that was declared around the end of 2019. We're in 22 now, and we haven't heard anything else. So that might have ended right there, which is a bit of a pisser. And that's our modern game, and seeing this is a visual novel and I don't want to spoil the story, I can't really go on about it anymore, except that I highly recommend that you check it out. If you've never tried a visual novel game, this is a bloody good place to start. It really is. That or Doki Doki Literature Club. I would say they're the best two to go to. Many people would say Steins Gate. The thing is, if you want to check out Steins Gate but you want to be lazy about it, there's an anime, and you could go to fucking Netflix. Oh, it was on Netflix. I don't know if it still is, but it was, and I've watched it. The game did a better job of the story, in my opinion, but that doesn't mean that the anime is bad. Far from it. Anyway, moving on to our retro game. Kirby's Dreamland. This game is the first in the Kirby series. How can you tell? Got a Wikipedia if I can tell you. But the weird thing is, on the front cover, Kirby is all white. Now, everyone knows Kirby for being pink. If you play the Game Boy one, you might think he's supposed to be pink. It's just it's original Game Boy, so there's no colour. There's puke green, or if you're playing on a Game Boy Pocket, it's just black and white. So you would assume that, you know, he's meant to be pink. They just can't handle pink. No, Kirby was originally white. I don't know why they changed it. Maybe they thought it was slightly racist or some bollocks like that. I hope that's not the case, but I wouldn't rule it out. Maybe they just thought, we want to make him more colourful, and someone went, let's make him pink. And to be fair, there weren't many Nintendo characters back then that were aimed more at girls, little girls who wanted to play video games, you know. So Kirby, I think Kirby's a boy, but I don't really know or give a shit, but making him pink must have appealed to young girls out there. So I think it's a good idea. I think it was clever and well done, because when you look at when you look at Kirby's Dreamland Game Boy cover, when you look at the cover for the game and you see him just white, it's a bit boring. It is. He looks like a fucking cloud. It's kind of dull. So he did indeed need some colour, in my opinion. Now, why are we talking about this game today? Why not the one on NES? Because this one, alright, yeah, it's the first one, but doesn't that mean it's lacking? Well, let's just cover what it's lacking. When Kirby inhales something, normally, he can steal that thing's power. Hence, you got, like, Link Kirby, you know, with the sword and all that jazz. Fire Kirby, breathe fire. Ice Kirby, free shit. You know, all of that. In the Game Boy one, no. You can inhale stuff, and you can swallow it, or you can inhale it and spit it out at enemies. That's it. There's no stealing of powers. There's nothing like that in this game. But this was the first Kirby. That shit was made later. I have to say, I love this fucking game. It is the first video game I remember ever completing. Now, I had played many games before it, and I may well have completed many games before it as well. But I've been playing since I was 5 years old. Video games, I mean. So I can't remember every little detail. But I do remember completing this. It was on a drive to or from holiday, and long-ass drive, so obviously it was somewhere in the UK. Might have been on holiday to Cornwall, for all I fucking know. And I was in the back with Game Boy, playing this game. This game was my sister's. Yes, she had some Game Boy games just like me, but she didn't have many. This was probably the coolest one of the lot for her. She did later on own Pokemon Yellow, but I'm pretty sure this happened before that. Anyway, to those of you who are unfamiliar with the Kirby franchise, what is the Kirby franchise? Well, you already know you're a little pink fuck that swallows enemies and then steals their powers, but it's a very sort of 2D style. There are 3D Kirby games, but I don't know why the 3D Kirby, it just doesn't look as cool as the 2D ones. I'm sorry, I put them in the realm of Sonic the Hedgehog and Earthworm Jim. Always better 2D, kind of meh when 3D. That's just how I feel about them game characters. You might agree with me, in which case you're right, or you might disagree with me, in which case you're wrong. Kirby, though, honestly, all of the games go the way of Pokemon and Zelda. They never drop in fucking price. In fact, some Kirby games, a lot of them, they just seem to go up in price. They are increasing in price all the fucking time. If you don't get a Kirby game when it comes out, you're an idiot. Because if you want it later, you're fucked. Trust me, you're fucked. There's a new Kirby game coming out. I don't know the name of it. Sorry, haven't researched it yet. When that comes out, I'm just going to have to buy it. Because my daughter loves Kirby. So, bollocks. I just have to buy it. Lucky fucking me. And it'll probably be a 3D Kirby, so I won't be happy. But Kirby's Dreamland, as we've accidentally gone away from there. Very basic sort of story. Kirby obviously lives in Dreamland. One night, under the cover of darkness, the gluttonous King Dedede, who is basically a giant fat penguin, goes to a castle and all this shit and steals all of the food from Dreamland. So everyone's starving to death. The gannet, the fat fucker. Just so you know, when this game is pretty much remade for the NES, because it is, it just fucking is, that plot's changed to one where he steals a dream wand that controls the dreams of the Dreamland. But in the Game Boy one, it's everybody is hungry. I can't word today. Have you noticed that? I'm struggling to fucking speak. That's what you want for a podcast, isn't it? An illiterate twat that can't talk properly. The game is very old school in the sense that you have to get points. You get points like old Mario games and shit by killing enemies, collecting power-ups, stuff like that. Now, you would think I don't care about points, but this is one of the games where you do, because the points award you extra lives. This is not a hard game. It's not. You might struggle with the end boss a little bit. There is a pattern to get used to, but once you figure that out, trust me, that's it. You've done it. It's not the hardest game in the world, but it is bloody fun. Like I said, it's one of the first ones I remember completing. It could be the first game I ever completed. I don't know. If I can't remember, then I can't fucking help you. But I can tell you that the game has still remained fun to this day. I played and completed it, a month and a half ago, for the first time in a few years. I just wanted to see if the game was still fun. And it is. I was actually gutted when it was over. The NES one, you have the ability to save and go back. It's a much longer game. But the Game Boy one is still awesome. Although there's no passwords and there's no save feature. So, fuck. But if you have a 3DS, you can get it on that and you have save states and shit. Although I don't know how many people play 3DS these days. I never see anyone with a 3DS or a 2DS XL. It seems to be completely dead. I guess the Switch has just annihilated it. Which is a shame, because I like the DS series. I didn't at first. I missed Game Boy off of the bat. But when the DS Lite came out, it was like, okay, now this is an awesome machine. Love this. The original DS, though, kind of thought the Lite was crap, and my one kept crapping out. I'm rambling. Pay attention, Tom. We're talking about Kirby, for fuck's sake! In this game, the goal of the game is to clear the level by defeating the boss at the end. So there's a lot of bosses, and they're all different. The funny thing is, there's the first boss in this game is essentially a tree that drops fruit. You swallow the fruit, you spit it at the tree. That's how you beat the first boss. That's it in a nutshell. That tree keeps reappearing in Kirby games. I don't know why. It's like it's become an iconic boss. Even though there's nothing special to the fucking thing. It's 2 black holes for eyes and 1 black hole for a mouth and a branch for a nose. It is the most bog standard tree design in video games for fuck knows how long. I mean, it makes the Deku tree in Ocarina of Time on the N64 look awesome. Even though, I won't lie, even back then, I thought the moustache for the Deku tree was actually the mouth. And now that I'm older and I look at it and I try to look at it the right way, I can't. It doesn't look like a moustache. It looks like he's got eyes that are exactly the same as the mouth. If you play the 3DS one, then, you know, it's all remastered and the moustache looks like a moustache. And I'm still fucking rambling. What the fuck? I can't pay attention today. I can't I can't stay on one topic, nor can I talk properly. I apologise. Hopefully my failing is of some entertainment to you, at the very least. Anyway, Kirby's Dreamland. If you were getting into old school original Game Boy, which by the way, you should, I hope you do, but at the same time, I hope you don't, because otherwise the games will go up in price, and that sure would suck. For me, anyway. This is a game you need in your Game Boy collection. If you don't have it, why? Flat out why. Don't know why. Also, I will quickly point out, in Japan, it has a different cover to over here, and I think I'm right in saying that the Japanese cover, Kirby is pink. So he didn't stay white for very long. Not to mention, it must have been re-released or released in Japan after he was released over here, or there was a miscommunication, he ended up white here but pink there. I don't know the answer to that one. If anyone does know, please leave in the comments. Help me out. I haven't got a fucking clue, and I'm an idiot, so I need help with things like this. And that's Kirby's Dreamland, our retro game for the day. And now we are moving on to our indie game, at long last. A game I can't believe I haven't talked about. I even went back and looked in old podcasts thinking, have I really not covered this one yet? I thought I'd have covered this one, but apparently I haven't. This game is Hollow Knight. Now, I have mentioned this game on my channel before, the Sega Head channel. If you're not listening to that, then okay. Checking it out, I mean, I can't word. I should just slap myself, shouldn't I? I apologise. My brain is running away, and my voice box is struggling to keep up with the fucking thing. I've spoken about Hollow Knight on the Sega Head channel before. There has been no Let's Play, there has been no deep discussion. There's merely been talk of how good the game is and how good the soundtrack is. Talk about the soundtrack in a minute, though. This game is a Metroidvania style. The map is fucking huge. I haven't beaten this game. I keep going back to it. I get a little further each time. I have a ton of fun. But fucking hell, is it a big game. It is a huge game. I know one person that says, oh yeah, I've beaten it. Have you now? Have you really? Oh yeah. Alright, prove it. And then they say, the end boss is Hollow Knight. Of course it is. It's made out several times in the fucking game that Hollow Knight will be the big thing to fight. You'd have to be a sodding idiot not to realise that. Although, don't get me wrong, when I first played it, I assumed you were Hollow Knight until you get just far enough to realise, no, Hollow Knight is a separate character. You are referred to as the Knight. Although I think the character appears in some other smaller indie-ish games, and he's called Hunger Knight or Hungry Knight or some shit like that. I can't quite remember, but in this one, he's just called the Knight. Anyway, the game is insanely huge. And oh my fuck, is it difficult. It is a bloody good challenge. This is one of them ones where if you consider yourself to be awesome at platformer games, this is a fucking test of that. Because it's tough. I mean, it's fucking tough. You do get power-ups throughout, and you do get the ability to enhance your abilities. But it kind of gets to a point where you can only hold so many power-ups and so many abilities. So you have to pick and choose what ones you have. The more powerful an ability, the more it will hamper you. Because if you've got something just stupidly awesome, then the pisser is, by having that, it takes up so many of the slots for power-ups that you can't hold anything else. So you've really got to pick and choose what powers benefit you the most. Like, I've got one power Let's see. It's one where when I get hit, my power meter, as it were, fills up. Normally that only fills up when you hit an enemy, but I've got this one, so when I get hit, that fills up as well, because you use the power meter for everything. Projectiles, fucking healing. Healing is done by the power meter. That is a big thing. So for me, it's like, okay, if you hit me, I want that to make me get closer to being able to heal myself. So that power I have to have. That's one I need. And I highly recommend having if you're playing this game. My son's got it now, and he is struggling a lot. But it is a very difficult game, and he's still really enjoying it. The game is very dark. It's not colourful. There's a lot of greys and blacks and blues, whites. It doesn't really go beyond that in terms of a colour palette, except for this, I think it's called Crystal Cavern or something like that. The area is made out of pink purplish crystals. That's quite refreshing when you get to that point because it gives you more colour. You get to a jungle area as well, but it's just green. Green isn't, I don't know, as much of a stimulus for the senses as fucking pink, as far as I'm concerned. I'll quickly say that it's been nominated for many, many awards. Let's just list off the ones it's won. Australian Game Awards, Independent Game of the Year, and Australian Developed Game of the Year for 2018. Also in 2019, it won National Academy of Video Games Trade Reviewers Awards, Design and New IP. It won that. It was nominated for many others, but those are the ones it won. In terms of your typical reviews, just about everything is a 9 out of 10. Nintendo World Report gave it a 10 out of 10. That's how good that is. Out of all of the ports, PC, Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, Metacritic has once again said the PS4 version is the weakest. What is with Metacritic? Every time we talk about them, they seem to slag off anything PS4. I understand favouring certain consoles, but fucking hell, when you keep making one less than all the others, you look a bit biased. So I don't think I trust anything Metacritic says anymore. Destructoid gave it a 10 out of 10. Eurogamer said recommended. IGN 9.4 out of 10. Why do they do that? Just say 9, you cunt. Or 10. Don't give me this 9-point shit. Nintendo Live, 9 out of 10. Nintendo World Report, as we said, was 10 out of 10. PC Gamer US, 92 out of 100. PC Power Play, 8 out of 10. Videogamer.com, 8 out of 10. Fucking big reviews. Awesome scores. The plot is a weird one. You, the knight, arrive in a ruined city or town called Hallownest. It's a big-ass ancient kingdom from the look of it, but underneath, in the bowels of an abyss, is this awesome underground city with so much going on. The inhabitants, like you, are bugs. You are a bug. You don't look very bug-like. You look like some sort of Tim Burton skeletal fuck-up thing. But it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. I could go into greater detail about the story, but I don't think I should, because the story's only given away in little snippets through the game. You never get a whole lot of story in one go. That just doesn't happen. So if I say too much, you might have to travel really far before you learn anything new. So I think I should just shut up on that one. Yeah. It's got a lot of the whole backwards and forth sort of thing. You'll go to one area and you'll find a bit where you think, I can make that jump. I can't make this jump. This is bullshit. Anyone with brain power who play a lot of video games will think, okay, I can't make that jump. I wonder if I can go somewhere and get the ability to double jump? See, that's what you got to do. You go to an area and then you can't progress. Okay, go back here. I'll try that other route. Find out, got a new power for knocking down false walls and shit. Okay, didn't see that, but now I know what to look for. There's a lot of that sort of thing going on. It's great. I love it for that. The only pisser is when you get stuck and you don't know where to go. Walkthroughs are a little bit useless because there's no direct set path. So it makes it very hard to figure out where to go. Where I am at the moment, I'm stuck trying to defeat this, I say boss. You essentially go into a room and then more of these bosses just keep appearing and appearing and appearing. And last time I got so close to killing the last one, I feel it in my gut that I nearly did it and then I stacked it. It was like, I need a break. I need a break. The game can become fucking infuriating. But I haven't given up. It's the sort of game when sometimes you just got to go, you know what? I need to step away. I'll come back, and sod's law, I'll do it on the first go, because that's the sort of shit that always happens to me. And even if I don't do it on the first go, I'm going to stick with it until I get too pissed off, then give it a break and come back again. Point is, I'm going to do it. I'm not the sort of person that can just put in hours and hours and hours and hours into one game and just keep playing it until it's done. Unfortunately, that doesn't work with me for many reasons. One, I don't get a lot of free time to do that because YouTube and this shit. And two, because of YouTube and this shit, I have to play loads of different games to give opinions on games and reviews, talk a load of shit, and keep up to date with stuff. Right now, everyone's going on about Pokemon Arceus, and I can't. I feel a bit done over with Pokemon, but that's a different thing, and I've rambled enough today about random shit, and
Sorry about that.
But Hollow Knight, honestly, is it as successful as the other Knight game that's indie, that we haven't covered yet, Shovel Knight? The answer is I don't fucking know. Shovel Knight is an indie game that's done fantastically well, even has an amiibo. Hollow Knight doesn't have an amiibo, but it is incredibly successful. Hollow Knight is very deep and dark and depressing, especially in its music style. Yes, I said I was going to cover the music. We're doing that now. It's orchestral, it's slow, it is just such a deep and depressive sort of tune. It's really dark and cold, man. Great music. I can't praise the music enough. I think now they're working on a sequel called Hollow Knight Silk Song. I know they're working on it. I don't know much else about that, but I'm pretty sure they've got the same musical composer back. Thank fuck for that. They really need that guy back because he did such a stellar job. What else can I say about Hollow Knight? I don't know. It is one of the best indie games I've ever played. I know I said that about Stardew Valley, and I still hold to that. Stardew Valley, is one of the best indie games there is. Hollow Knight is nothing like Stardew Valley. They have nothing in common. Not a fucking thing. Except that they are top quality games. You need to try Hollow Knight. I know I say, you need to try this, or I highly recommend that. A lot. I do. But that's because this podcast has been about games we like. I promise soon I will do a podcast about games I hate. If you have any recommendation for that, please put in the comments of whatever you're watching or listening to this to. Like, you might be watching it on YouTube. Please leave a comment there. If you're listening to it in other places, find a way to comment there, or you can contact me at segahead@hotmail.com. There's many ways you can contact me, or you can find me on Twitter or Facefuck and all that shit. I mean Facebook. If there's a porn site called Facefuck, no, I'm not there. I'll be damned if I am. And confused. And that is that for the day. That is the 16-Bitchin podcast covering Worldend Syndrome, Kirby's Dreamland, and Hollow Knight. Awesome games, all of them, and they're all completely fucking different. They're all awesome, but for very different reasons. I hope you've enjoyed today's one, even though I rambled a bit more than normal, and my brain no thinky. Yeah, I apologise for that. Please check out podcast's previous episodes, because there's interviews with YouTubers all the fucking time. Hopefully the podcast will still go strong, or better yet, go stronger. Please don't forget to share this crap anywhere you can to try and get more people to listen to it or watch it or whatever. Any recommendations for future games to talk about? Again, contact me in the previously mentioned places and let me know. Thank you very much for listening today. Subscribe wherever you can, and I'll see you next time.